following is an unpaid preview for a game seeking funding on Kickstarter. The product seen here is a work in progress and is subject to change during the duration of the project. Hi, I'm Ferdinand the Cardboard Stacker, and I'm here at the Salton Sea near Palm Springs, California, to what could be the most interesting archaeological discovery in the 21st century. Now, legend has it that 100 years ago, a couple of residents that are living around the area spotted an ancient longship around the cliffs around the mountain area here. But, of course, in 1933, the Long Beach earthquake occurred and the ship vanished, and is still lost today. While my discovery isn't about the boat itself, it gave some clues to whether or not the Vikings were actually here in California. That discovery, underneath my feet. Yes, runes. Wooden runes. And to the purpose of them, I'm not quite sure on. It's not very clear, but I'm taking a couple of these specimens and sending to my friends at the Jackbro labs to see what they come up with. Well, a few months have passed and something has arrived at my door. A package and a small letter from Jackbro themselves. So let's go ahead and get a quick read on this. Dear Cardboard Stacker, thank you for reaching out to us and sending in your unearthed discovery. Unfortunately, your archaeological find that you've given us is as real as a coin-operated fortune teller. In other words, it's clearly a counterfeit. We had a few laughs. We taking your finding as a wild goose chase, respectively say, I'll just skip to the end. Despite all that, we'd like to send our prototype for our game, Vikingar. Sincerely, Jackbro. Well, this explains why there's a box in the package, but hey, Vikingar. So here's the preview for Vikingar. In Vikingar, you control a Viking clan whose mission is to explore the world of mortals, complete divine achievements, and finally set sail to the ends of the earth through the gates of Valhalla. In order to do that, they need to complete a number of areas of achievement. There are 8 total achievements that can be earned, but in a normal game setting, only 3 is needed before completing the final task. These achievements can range from losing longships in battle, conquering cities and places of worship, battling other clans, and buying wealth. Do these a number of times to complete the achievement. The game starts with the world unexplored and player's longship starting out in the center tile. To start exploring, a player must navigate through the open ocean. Upon reaching an unexplored tile, the player flips it. Each ship can move and activate a feature on the tile, but some features can only be activated only if they're on the other side. Players can loot by destroying places on the board. They can also earn some gold by building outposts in cities and places of worship. The fortresses must be either looted or be given gold in order to pass. The special mythical quests, marked as a rune, are places with dangerous creatures. If defeated, you have access to powerful treasure. Battling other players and creatures, and even checking tests for exploring, uses runes which are thrown into the middle of the board. Determining the outcome uses a few simple rules. Any face-up rune is 1 point, and a rune that is on the side is 3 points as long as it falls in the inner circle. Face-down runes are worth 0 points. If a rune creates a pile, add the single pile up and double it. In this case, this configuration is 8 points. This is added along with any other piles or single runes. A standing rune, very hard to get but not impossible, is an automatic victory. At the end of each round, players earn gold from their outposts and may build more ships. The last thing to do each round is to see who gets the point for the Curse Cup. The player that is behind in points will earn the Curse Cup point. The final task after completing 3 achievements is to find the gates of Valhalla. If you are at the outer edge of a tile, you can try to find the gates. Beware, few places lead to the fabled place and others only will lead to the abyss. The Viking clan to complete their achievements and head to Valhalla wins the game. First, let's talk about the gameplay. It's simple and it's just all about exploring and interacting with the features on the board and with other players. The game also has some really cool component ideas in there. The circular modular board, as you go around just exploring and flipping around. I didn't have any trouble flipping the tiles and putting it. I think you'll just have a little trouble trying to set it up, but when you actually fully set it up, I think it'll turn out well. As for the rooms themselves, I think it's a really cool idea, and it's also, I think it works thematically. Here's some of them right there. I mean, they're wooden pieces as well. I mean, throwing right in the middle of the board is kind of cool, but the thing is, there are some pieces that may move around. They're thinking of putting like a separate board off to the side of the table just to roll the thing, and I did have it does damage it a little bit because the pointed ends of the runes, but overall it's kind of cool. I will have to say that if you are behind or losing, it isn't so bad in this game. There are things in this game that are catch-up mechanics in there, especially for the last player. It's kind of weird to have a separate achievement that focuses on actually being in last place. I guess it kind of pushes it forward for that last person, so they won't get left behind. But losing in battle or losing ships in battle, that's okay, and that will actually give you some points for the game. So the prototype that was given to me had the game that plays up to 3 players. I think it works well with 3 players. I wish I could play it with 4 players. I think it works well for 4 players. 2 players, I played it a few times with 2 players. It does work, but I don't feel like there's enough interaction with the other players. Yes, you get about 4 ships on the board in the beginning, but the interaction there is not that heavy, and I like a little bit more interaction in this kind of game. And I think a little bit more of that will make the game flow work better. One of the things I'm really bothered about this game is that there's a lot of luck in it, especially when there is random encounters from the cards and the runes itself, which is basically the dice mechanic in here. First, let's go start with the runes first. There are some purposes where, like for example, the monsters you can find in there will roll even more runes, but I feel like even rolling more kind of like spreads out the runes more and makes the runes negated because they're out of bounds in the board. I guess my overall thoughts about the runes is that they're totally random anyway. You can try to sneak in a little dexterity in there trying to put in the board. I mean, you probably want to land as many runes on the board as possible, but there are rules stating that you have to drop the runes in a certain way in order to make it count, or else the other players will say you have to reroll all of those. It is a little annoying with the randomness for that. As for the cards themselves, I think it's also totally random. I mean, you can encounter a really powerful boss, and somebody can just roll one shot at it and get the item for it, and that'll be a one lead-in run away from him. So, lots of luck in this game. And my final note and my biggest negative for this game has to be that the ending feels very anticlimactic. I mean, it's completely just getting lucky if you can find the end gates of the game. Basically what you do after you find your achievements, you try to go at the end of the board. Hopefully you find one of the cards in the deck that lets you go, which is a 33% chance. So 24 cards in that deck, 8 of those cards, you can go win the game. I mean, you just have to find it and that's it. If you don't find it, then you have a chance of losing your boat and maybe not making on, and then starting from the beginning again and trying to go into that ending spot. So highly dislike the ending, and because you've been working a lot on the achievements so far, and then basically it's a chance to go to the end. That's it. Hopefully they will fix this a little bit, but I just can't stand it. At the end, I enjoyed Vikingar. It has some neat components it comes with, and it's easy to play. Exploring and getting all those achievements is one of the strong points of the game. However, luck is a major factor in this game, and that's due to the random encounters and throwing the runes themselves. Overall, I'm going to give my rating impression this a good. With the release of this preview video, Vikingar is currently on Kickstarter. If you're interested in supporting this project, please visit their campaign page for more information. This has been the Cardboard Stagger, and thanks for watching.